What's up, everybody? This is BK Boy coming at you. Today, what I'm gonna do is I'm doing a oil change on my 2002 Harley Davidson Fatboy. All right. I noticed online. I actually had one person that was very informative. There was a couple of other guys who did some things, but the one that was the closest to my bike was I believe it was Dan Axelson. Sorry, Dan Axelson. He was doing an oil change on a 2004 Harley Davidson Fatboy. Gotta give a shout out because it was very, very helpful. Before this, not gonna lie to you, I had my V-Star, and it was, you changed the oil. That was it. There was no changing your engine oil, which is, I'm sorry, the regular motor oil, as well as changing the transmission fluid and changing your primary case. So on the Harley, I mean, you're pulling three plugs, so it's a little different, and this is gonna be my first time since I actually got this used maybe about a little less than a year ago. I mean, I got it during the summer. The oil change was already done. I'm sure it's not, well, at least that's what the guy told me. But I'm going to do this on my own. Put my own oil in it. And just do it. You know, you got to do it to, to learn. So what I'm going to do right now, give me a second. Just flip the camera real quick, just to show you guys. I do have a regular oil container, but I'm using the pan right now because I actually want to see the color of the oil that's going to actually come out of it, because of the fact that, it was told to me that the oil was changed. I check, it doesn't look like it's bad at all, but again, like I said, I don't know what was actually put into it. That's someone else telling me something. I got the oil pan. That's about right where the regular motor oil is going to come out of. First thing, the equipment that I'm going to need is, first and foremost, got to have my little drink. Drink a little something light now because trying to get rid of that gut there. Next, I actually have the Torx, right? These are just like the little torque bits that I'm going to need to take off the primary cover. I also have 6 quarts of Lucas motorcycle oil, the synthetic 20W50, right? As well as my my ratchet set. Now there's gonna be different sizes, different things that you need. I'm just gonna tell you one of the most important things that you do need to have right now is the Torx bits, because not everybody usually has those, so you're gonna need that to take off the primary case. For mine, I believe the T30 is what I actually need to use for that one. Right behind my ratchet set, I don't know if you could really see that, but that's my Allen set. All right, so need those as well. That's what you're gonna need to take off the drain plugs. You're gonna need that to actually take off I believe the transmission plug. So other than that, how about this? What we're gonna do? I'm gonna get back to maybe trying to show you guys the plugs. Oh yeah, almost forgot. I did mention that I did order some primary cover gaskets. All right. Again, I've read that you can reuse those gaskets several times. I don't know. Again, like I said, I purchased the bike. I didn't have the opportunity to do these things on my own. I'm just doing it because it's my peace of mind. I want to do it. I got the oil filter, which is the PH 6065B. All right. Again, I know I did say I got the Lucas over here. I've used Lucas on my car. I've used Lucas sometimes on the bike, but the oil, the motorcycle oil itself, Lucas has never done me wrong. So I'm gonna try this. I saw it there. I did some checks on it, and from what I got, some different people have said that it was pretty good. So we'll see. Again, that's a Lucas motorcycle oil. It's a high performance synthetic 20W50. Okay, that's the motor oil plug. It's about 5 inches in front of the rear tire, to the right on the side of your exhaust pipes. Moving right over here, we see the shocks. The 2002 Harley Davidson Fatboy has 2 shocks in the middle, right in the middle, again, right in the front of the tire, the rear tire. If you look right here, right in between, there's a plug there, and that is the transmission plug. Alright. Okay, on the left side of the bike, right across from the motor oil plug, you'll find the primary case plug. Okay guys, pretty much it's about a day later, and I'm done. I already changed the oil. I did everything that I had to do. It just was a little bit more than I thought, because of the fact that, you know, untightening the plugs, trying to hold the camera, do all those things. And then I thought about it. I figured, look, how much of you guys really want to see the oil dripping from my bike? Me, I'm one of those dudes that I actually want to see it. You know, yeah, call me weird. But what I'm gonna do is real quick, just showing you guys. These are the tools that I used. I made a mistake yesterday. I kind of said the T30 is what I was gonna use for my I guess the gearbox, and that was wrong. It was actually I wind up having to use the T25, and I lucked out because I had like my little Cobalt sets, and kind of forgot about those, and they really came in handy. I used those, the blue ones. Those are basically the torque set, and the red and blue would be my Allen set. For the red and blue, I use for the crankcase. For the crankcase, I used a 1/4 on the plug, and for both the transmission and the primary case, I used 3/16. All right. I actually, when I was trying to take off my filter, I thought, come on, I have a, you know, I have the filter wrench. I'll just throw that on, pull it off, no problem, you know. And you know, Dan actually said it, that those usually don't work, so he was using the wrench. I actually had to use the wrench. Kind of damages the filter, but again, you're taking it off, you're not using it, you know, but it takes it off. All right, that's I believe it's like the groove joint. It's the 12-inch groove joint pliers, and they work. I use the funnel for basically everything to put it into the crankshaft, transmission, and the primary. Primary, you're gonna have to kind of, you're putting it into the side. When you take off that plate, once again, that's something that maybe I should have shown you, and I'm gonna say it again. Dan Axelson actually has the entire video. You take these off. Take this off. It's a plate. All right. When you take off the plate, you're gonna have the gasket underneath. Pull off that gasket, and it's gonna be a round piece in there. You're gonna have to find a spot where you're gonna put in the small end of the funnel. Just put it there and let it drain in, because you're putting in the fluids through here, through this area. All right, when you take it off, you'll see what I'm talking about. Again, that's probably something I should have videotaped, but I didn't come out too well. I was, just tired, and I had some things I had to do. But again, took that off. As you can see, the turkey baster, and you'll also see the measuring cup. Use the measuring cup because that winded up being 26 ounces for the primary case, 24 ounces for my transmission. And I'm going to tell you guys, this is where the turkey baster came in. It tells you 3.5 for the crankcase, and that one I got in 3. And as I was pouring I was figuring, look, I'm gonna put in maybe about 12. I start pouring, and I was putting in 1/2, and I realized I could see the oil coming up, and I realized that it was too high. I tried to shift the bike to stand it up straight. It was on the kickstand. I tried everything just to see if it would adjust. I even put in the plug afterwards. I put in the cap and started the bike, let it run to see if maybe it would cycle through and run out. And it doesn't happen that way. All right, it doesn't happen that way. So I wind up having to use the turkey baster to siphon some out. So I'm gonna say I think it's 3 quarts, and it might even be a little less than that, because you got to figure when you take off your filter, before you replace the new filter, you actually have to put at least up to 1/2, maybe a little bit more oil in there. And what I'm going to tell you is, turn it around, spin it around, because as you put in, you may think that you have half the oil in there, and as you kind of turn the filter to let the oil kind of saturate into the filter, you'll realize that it kind of soaks up, and you're gonna have to put more. And top of the filter, you take a little bit of oil and you rub it around the rubber seal, the rubber gasket on the filter, just to make sure that it kind of slides a little. It doesn't catch when you're tightening it up. Yeah, just in case I didn't say it, I actually used the Lucas in all 3 compartments. Basically, the manual says that you can use the synthetic in all 3 compartments. Some people actually use a specific oil for the transmission. They actually get a transmission fluid because they figure it's transmission, it should have transmission fluid. But the manual actually says that you can use the synthetic in all 3 compartments. So that's what I did, and if you look at the Lucas, it actually says just that. You can use it in all 3 compartments. So if anyone who is concerned about that, that's something. And like I said, you make sure you get that oil on the gasket, on the filter, just to make sure that it spins. And like most people have said on the videos I've watched, hand tighten. Don't use a wrench, don't use anything. You tighten, and once you get it tight and it feels firm, you give it like at least 3/4 of a turn. I turned it till I felt like I turned it enough that I did not have to really put any kind of pressure, to like really force it on. Turned it till I couldn't turn it anymore. But I didn't really put all my power into it. I tried to make sure that I knew that if I decided to really grip it and turn, I could still turn it for maybe another 1/2 turn, but I decided, stop. You don't have to tighten it that tight. Again, I'm going to tell you, I think it's 3 quarts. I think it's about 3 quarts. The 3.5, I'm going to tell you, check it out. Again, like Dan said, I'm not a professional, he's not a professional, whatever the case is. Don't take my word for it, because again, I'm just an amateur who's doing the DIY. I'm here just trying to do it myself and see, save some money and just to be handy. Again, I'm doing this video pretty much just to kind of, you know, build up my chops, you know. I know there are other videos, but I'm doing it for the 2002 Harley Davidson Fatboy. I think I'm just gonna sign out. I don't think that I missed anything. Gonna sign out. It's BKA boy saying deuces, and I appreciate you guys watching. Stay safe.